This story right here absolutely, positively shatters the irony meter. I just had to share it with you because this is real galaxy brain stuff. So the title is Woke or KKK, NYU, New York University, hosts whites only anti-racism workshop for public school parents. Experts say the workshop violated multiple civil rights laws. Okay, let me give you the specifics here. New York University hosted a whites-only anti-racism workshop for public school parents in New York City, barring minorities from a 5-month-long seminar that legal experts say was a brazen violation of civil rights law. The all-white seminar, From Integration to Anti-Racism, cost $360 to attend and met 6 times between February and June, according to a description of the program that has since been scrubbed from the university's website without explanation. Gee, I wonder why they scrubbed it. Organized by NYU's Steinhardt School of Education, the workshop was designed specifically for white public school parents committed to becoming anti-racist and building multiracial parent communities. Well, that's super ironic. You want to build a multiracial parent communities, but you want to do all the planning for that in a whites-only event. But to promote solidarity with all races, participants were told it was necessary that the seminar include only one. A few days before the first session, facilitators circulated a short handout, Why a White Space, to explain why we are meeting as white folks for these 6 months. The handout, produced by the nonprofit Alliance of White Anti-Racists Everywhere, argued that white people need spaces where they can unlearn racism without subjecting minorities to undue trauma or pain. So in other words, this is a whites-only event, but it's for you. My poor, delicate flower minorities. It's for you. Facilitators reiterated this argument on day 1 of the seminar, audio and video of which was obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, when a parent questioned the premise of the workshop, saying it seemed a little counterintuitive to exclude minorities from an anti-racism seminar. Barbara Gross, the associate director of Steinhardt Education Justice Research Group, assured her that it was for their own good. Quote, "People of color are dealing with racism all the time, like every minute of every day. It's a harm on top of a harm for them to hear our racist thoughts." So you're saying we're going to do a whites-only event because we're so non-racist. And during our whites-only event, you're going to have racist thoughts. Man, look, you know what this is, guys? This is an example of sectarianism breaking people's brains. And this is kind of an example of the idea that horseshoe theory can be real. The idea of like the far left and the far right end up meeting in a place where it's like, hey, yeah, let's segregate stuff. This actually happened. The hardcore white nationalists and the hardcore black nationalists sort of agreed. And their reasoning was, like Malcolm X before he went to Mecca and before he had his awakening as he got older, he said, look, I believe in separation, not segregation. Separation is mutually agreed upon by equals, and segregation is enforced on an inferior by a superior. These are his words. That's what he said. So in other words, he would agree with the KKK. Just he's saying, you know, we want to separate. We're going to call it separation, not segregation, even though it's functionally the exact same thing. It's an example of horseshoe theory. It is an example of horseshoe theory. Because somebody who's on the far right might look at this and be like, yeah, based, separate from the black people. We don't want to be around the black people. But this is an example of they think they're do-gooders. They think they're not racist. Look, I got news for you. If you are this obsessed with race, where you want to take a class on not being racist, you probably are racist. Because you're thinking about it too much. You're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You know what black people are? People. You know what brown people are? People. You know what white people are? People. People are people. Yes, they have different experiences and life stories and mindsets and ideologies, but it varies even within different races. It's not like, it's really this idea of like, they're talking about black people as if it's like they're a monolith, like they're all the same, they're all part of the group. But individual black people didn't sign up to, I'm a representative of all black people, right? That way of thinking is super sectarian and super damaging. And you end up wokeifying your way into just flat out racism. I mean, look at this, man. This is crazy. Whites only event. because we're not racist. Because, we want... By the way, there's a line in the article that goes on. It's hilarious. One of them says, the reason why we made this a whites-only event is because the average black person deals with 23 microaggressions every day, and we want to stop that. Come on, man. You're overthinking it. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. If you want to not be racist, try not being racist. And that would... Step number 1 would be allowing black people into your class. And it would also probably be not doing this class. If you have to come up with strategies to be anti-racist, that's kind of disturbing, because you're just thinking that the default is like mega racism, and if you don't watch yourself very carefully, you're obviously just going to turn into fucking Bull Connor or David Duke. This sort of sectarian stuff I hate so much, man. Could you imagine signing up for this class? Could you imagine signing up for this class? And everybody has to notice the irony. Right? Is there anybody who doesn't notice the irony? A whites-only class to unlearn racism. A racist class to unlearn racism. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. I would not want to be around these people. They're not playing with a full deck. I think that's obvious. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.